But I guess we'll get to that. I'm just gonna sit in front of the camera until something comes off of my brain. Okay, I think I know what I'm gonna talk about first. I actually don't care about the way that I look. I think at some point self-love will hit hard enough to the point where it's like, okay, I'm gonna fix my hair really quick, but at the end of the day, I look how I look and I like the way that I look, and I actually don't care if you like the way that I look. But being in my own skin feels good enough. So today I'm gonna tell many of my friends and close family know that I'm actually homeless. Partially it is by choice, and partially it is circumstance. However, you make the best of it. When life gives you lemons, make lemonade. I have quite a knack for a sweet tooth, and I'm also an optimist. So it's just very sweet lemonade. Very sweet. But today, I wanted to talk about, I'd seen a TikTok, and it was like, if you're so confident, burn the bridge. Because people love confidence. And at the end of the day, I actually don't care whether or not people have confidence, because it's not always true. But it feels pretty good knowing in my own confidence when a bridge is meant to be burned. And recently, I've made decisions that were poor, whether they were based in my own selfish desires, for myself or for others. And I've definitely burnt a few bridges. However, there are 8 billion more bridges to be built and 8 billion more to be burnt. So, I think sometimes we have to take a look at our relationships and in understanding the fact that as time progresses, we change. I'm not going to be the person you fell in love with 5 minutes ago. And you are not going to love me the same way that you loved me when I was that person. And when you decide to love someone, because loving someone is an active choice, a choice that you have to make every day. You ask yourself whether or not you love this person enough to hold their hand while they change, while they grow, while they separate themselves from the person that you used to love and grow into a person who hopefully you can continue loving. And I ask myself that question a lot, is, do I love you enough to put up with you? And like many say in self-love, you need to learn to love yourself because you are the only person that you are going to be stuck with for the rest of your life. People around you, as you make that active decision of, today, do I love you enough to continue loving you as you grow and change? And do I think that you love me enough to hold my hand while I grow and change? It's incredibly quiet. Not anymore. I just heard someone screaming outside. I think at a certain point in life, you realize that you might not love someone enough to wait for them to change, to wait for them to become the person that you expect or hope that they'll be. And I think that was one of the hardest lessons for me to learn. I do think people truly are capable of change. And I think that that's a glass half full assessment. But it's not a true assessment for everyone. You can change. I can change. Much like this room, the earth that we're on, everything around us will change. But whether or not you decide to stand by as it changes is your own active decision. And when I was considering leaving home, I asked myself if I loved the people who I was around enough to sit idly by and watch them change. Knowing I'd been waiting 18 years for them to change. 18 subjectively. I've been alive for 18 years at that point, so there are some people in that book who I could say had waited 18 years to change. But some of the hardest people who I've had to leave, I'd only known for 4 or 5 years. And to correct myself, some of those people left me. Because sometimes in order to change, you have to leave someone who's not willing to. And at that point in my life, I wasn't willing to change. I was a drug addict. I was a sex addict. Overall, quite frankly, I was a dopamine addict. And for me to be able to sit in this hotel room alone, drugless, likely would have driven me insane. And if I'm honest, it's driving me a little crazy right now. Because even as you change, you will have hard days. And some days won't even be hard, or some days won't even be good. Like today's just a day. Today's maintenance. Today I woke up, I've eaten all 3 of my meals, I've maybe showered like 4 times, I shaved. To others that might not sound like a productive day to have. Every day you're doing work behind the scenes. Maintenance. And maintenance isn't always fun. I did actually tell my friend that brushing your teeth every day isn't always fun. But some days you'll look in the mirror and brushing your teeth will be the highlight of your day. And I actually don't think I've brushed my teeth today, but brushing your teeth at some point will be the highlight of your day. And brushing your teeth will also be boring, but it's maintenance and it's change. Every day I brush my teeth, I change from the grime that's accumulated to a fresh new set of pearly whites. And that work behind the scenes never goes unnoticed. Even if it's just talking to yourself, even if it's just brushing your hair or shaving your face, doing a little bit of your eyebrows, or telling yourself what you might be thankful for or what you might want in the future. Even if you don't write it down or nobody else hears it. That maintenance, that change, the effort goes somewhere. Even if you, quite literally, have not left your bed. Although for someone who hasn't left their bed, I'm pretty sure you look fantastic. I didn't really decide what I wanted to talk about today. I know for a fact that I have a dozen things that I would like to talk about, but I think for the first video that I'll ever post, I wanted to talk about change. Because to go from someone who is terrified to post online, to posting way too much, to having the courage to not post at all, and now the courage to post something that I might actually put effort into. I think that's resemblance of change. And as well as I change, I see the people around me changing. Asking questions, giving answers to themselves and to others. Those who are around you might not always love you enough to hold your hand while you change. But as annoying as it sounds, you do have to learn how to hold your damn hand. I think one of the large changes that I'm working on for myself now is a chase for dopamine. And although I can brush my teeth now and be okay with it being boring, I am tweaking a little in this hotel room, alone, without anything to indulge myself in, other than Bluey on the TV. What was the Disney Channel? I watched Cinderella, and then I watched like a new Disenchantment, or no, the one with like the villains, a few other things. It's been nice. It's also been nice to sit in silence. Right now I'm questioning how bad do I actually want to record this video and post it. Right now I'm questioning how much I actually want this. To record this video, to post it, and to make the dedication to communicate online about the things that I think and feel. An active exploration of what the internet and technology has to offer. As someone who has spent so long trying to reject it. And it's weird to say as somebody who enjoys being unemployed, as someone who truly doesn't care about money, but also in the realistic efforts of, I know that I need money to survive. I wonder what posting something like this on YouTube would actually garner, considering constant effort, deliberation, and the choice to change the lifestyle in which I'm enacting in. The consequences and the benefits as well. And I think I've been wanting it for so long, and I don't even really know the reasons. I think part of it is because I want to be able to speak and be understood. I'd love for the things that I say to garner someone's respect or interest, and for someone to hear the things that I talk about and actually want to listen. And so, I guess for my first video, I'm just garnering your patience to watch as I grow and I change, and I try something new. Granted, I could give up in a week, but I likely won't, hopefully. Because it would be a dream to have someone sitting here next to me and having an actual conversation about the things that I would enjoy to talk about. But today it gets to be just me, and I'm pretty happy and excited about that. I have a few ideas of what I'd want to talk about. For example, I'd like to do a list of 100 things that you need to know in order to thug it out, which I actually think is interesting enough on its own, just the 3 words, thug it out. A phrase in which we use for when we know that we have to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps, and taking the accountability and the responsibility to take care of yourself. Despite the consequences and the constant effort that is needed to self-regulate as well as grow. It's weird saying things out loud. I think one of the many things that I'm wanting to grow on and things that I've been watching those who I surround myself also grow on is sobriety. I do say that I no longer drink. I have had drinks. I do see myself in the future drinking. But my hope is that it will no longer be to the extent of what it once was, and that I will also learn boundaries and my responsibility as someone who does partake or who will partake, but also learning the responsibility of knowing when to say no, even when it's hard. Even when you want to say literally anything else. I don't know, but that's it for now.